Okay, now we can start with the create, and you can see that when we click this create, it sends us to create, but we don't have a component that handles that. So let's create this one. This, okay, React use effect use state from React, redirect and will router from React router, and Firebase from our Firebase. So let's say constant and create equals to a function, and let's say export default create. Okay, I'm recording. Yep. So, and here we can return a React fragment and say create, just create works, just like that. We need to define this one inside our route, so let's say import create from components and create. Just going to copy this one and define it down here. The component we're going to mount is the create, and we're going to respond to this create path. So you can see that create works, and now we are getting the component. So let me close this one, and here we're going to define some things. I'm just going to copy the first three things, okay? So, as we did before in the sign in and login, we're going to set what we need in the form. So we need the title, the content, and the cover, okay? Because these three parts are going to be needed for the post. And we're going to define the setters, the set title, set content, and set cover, okay? Also, the use state is going to be just an empty string. You can say null, whatever, but this is the these are the three parts we need for the post. So we're going to define that, and we're going to set the state of each one using the form, okay? So let me just create the form right now. We're going to create it like this because we're going to handle some things. Okay, let me first import, well, copy and paste this. We need a loading state, okay? Because when we perform the upload, we are not going to respond with the task, okay? We're just going to set a loading state with a spinner. So we're going to say, if the application is busy, load the spinner, okay, and add a little message, just like we did on the other tutorials. So that's what this is going to do, and this is for the redirection, okay. So this is just the similar thing, what we are going to set, and the setter, the actual setter of the state we want, okay. So if you want the task transfer and all that, you can just try to get the file uploads inside here, so you respond with the task transfer with the Firebase on the Firebase uploads, or you could try to use custom hook, respond with the task. I mean, create all your what we are going to do inside the config or your functionality inside a custom hook, and call it here, so you can return the task and set the percentage of the file that is being uploaded. We are not going to do that, okay, because I'm still checking hooks. So, but we're going to do that on another tutorial that is only going to handle file uploads with custom hooks, okay. I just have that planned. I haven't done anything with that, but even though in the next tutorial is going to be React all this the same thing with context, with the context API, sorry, and we're going to handle that the same way we are doing here, and the same way we did with the Redux. So let's create a form. Create form. So we're going to check, because we want this busy state, we want to check if it's busy. If it's busy, meaning that there's an action being performed, like uploading the files, we're going to say, I'm just going to copy this. We're going to set this create form that is going to be used here. If we can even change this and say create form. Okay. So this is going to be the loading state. Okay, request is being processed, and with spinner. So this is BC is going to be set whenever we upload a post, okay, with a file. And if that is not set, let's say else. If that is not set, we're going to say create form equals to a form. I'm just going to copy and paste this, because and this is the same that we did here using the setters, okay, of the respective parts of the state that we wanted. Okay, this is just the same. It's just a form. You can copy this. Okay, just a form. With the submit, we need this function that we are going to create right now, the add post. And whenever we type something on the inputs, it's going to set that part of the state. In this case, the title. In this one, the text area, the content. And the only change we are going to see is this set cover that is going to take an array of files, that is this event target files, okay, that is going to return us a file list, and from there we're going to handle only the first file. Okay, so that's the only thing. We're using just the setters on each respective input, okay, the title, content, and cover. So this one is type file, okay, so you can see. Now this is not going to work because we need this add post. I'm just going to import two things, or copy and paste two things. First, the redirection, okay, that you should already know how this works. We set the route redirect after uploading the file, that we haven't done that, uploading the post, and this is going to return a redirection to the main route. Okay, so now let's say constant add post. Lol, if I can fucking type, constant add post equals to okay, let me just get that. This is going to be async right now. Okay, so let's say event that prevent default. When we still are not going to use await, we're just going to console something so we can see the form works. Say form sent, just like that, and we already added the create form that is going to be either the form or the loading state, depending on how we set the state of the is busy. So this is the form. Okay, we can choose file. This should open on my okay. So now we want to create the function and connect it. Okay, login. Okay, let me close that. Yep, we're going to create the add post function, so we can export this and get it inside the component and add our files to the database. So let me just, okay, I'm already there. So let's create, where should I, maybe down here? No, all this is going to be for the user, or the first 1, 2, 3, 4 functions are for the user. So let's build it right here. It's going to be async The function name is create post. You can call it however you want. And here we're going to receive a post. Okay, so let me first show you how this is going to work, because I've been doing several things on the other tutorials, creating first this and then showing you how to work this, so you can, it will help you to understand different approaches, okay, or different ways of how could you build this if you already understand what you want. So this is going to be, let me go to my create here. As you can see, this is going to, let's just console.log the post so you can see what is returning. So this one is going to receive a post. How we are going to send that? Inside this add post, we're going to do something. We're going to say let post equals to a new object. Okay, so this object is going to have the title and the content, and the cover is going to be the cover 0. Okay, because the cover is let me just say console.log cover. If you're this shouldn't be here. Okay, if you are asking what the hell is this, then this is the file, the actual file list. Okay, and the title, content, and cover are these constants, but instead of saying title, that is the property of this post, is going to be equal to title. Okay, since it's the same name, we can just set the same thing, okay, just like that, and it's going to take the constant that is named in the same way of the property. Okay, so because we need here, we don't want to send all the files, all the file lists, because the cover is going to be a file list. Okay, let me add, this should work. So let's say all this, let me get one of these. So create post, you can see that let me do this again. This returns a file list with a length of 1. Okay, that is because we only are allowing one file to be added. And you can see create line 17, and this is the console.log cover. So since this is an array, okay, we want the 0 index, so that's why we are just setting whatever is coming from this cover, the file list array, just give me the first one. Okay, so that's what we are doing. So let's keep that like that, and now we can continue with the config file, the create post. So we're going to do a few things here. As I said, we're going to build the upload inside this, but you could try to do it here, meaning importing Firebase, okay, and the raw storage Firebase, and store it like this inside this. But let me show you what we're going to do, and I will explain it in a little bit. Constant, we need the reference, so let's say storage ref, and it's going to be firebase.storage. This is a method, and the reference is a method. We want the reference of the bucket, okay, that we have. So now we need to create this constant storage child that this storage child is going to be storage reference that child, and the post that cover that name, because we're going to handle the cover that is being added. Okay, this one, and this has the name property. Okay, so we're going to set this, so the child returns a reference to a relative path from this reference. We're going to use the name, okay, to create the reference. Now let's say constant post cover. We're going to use a wait because this is an async function. We need to wait for the file to be uploaded. So we're going to say storage child that put. This has the put method, and this one takes the file itself. Okay, so the child only takes the name because we want the name to create the reference, and we upload the file using the put with the file that we want. Okay, so that is going to take a bit, and after that we're going to receive this download URL using a wait on the storage child that get download URL. Once the file is uploaded, okay, we're going to wait until the end and return this URL. Now we're going to say file ref equals to the post cover that is this reference. Okay, we're going to get the reference property, then we're going to get the location, okay, although it doesn't show here, and we're going to get the path. So this is the actual path of the file that we're going to download, or that we are going to upload, sorry. So this is going to be used in order to delete the file, and this is the URL that we want to return in order to tell which file we want to load. Okay, so now we're going to create a new post equals, so let's say title. This one is going to come from the post title. The content is going to come from the post content. Remember, all this we are adding with this. The cover, we're going to add the download URL. We're going to use that for the cover. Okay, I forgot a comma here. And the file ref that we're going to handle it with this file ref is going to be all file, not file ref. Okay, the one we have here on line 57. So this is going to create a new object that we're going to upload to Firebase. And now we're going to say return await Firebase that firestore the collection we want to upload this or to store this is posts, and the add method that is going to allow us to add the post into the database. But we can do something like this: let post equals to this await and return the post. So this is going to return a post. I have an error there. Why? Okay, because post has been let's say, let be, fuck it. You will see, if you work with other programmers, you will see a lot of this kind of. Sometimes it's useful because you don't want to define on any other thing, any other name, and you just say, well, fuck it. So now we have the function, but we are not using that. Okay, so we need to call it inside this at post. So we're going to say oh yeah, Yeah. I'm going to change this one because we're going to handle the then inside this. Okay, so let's just return the await. So we're going to say this await, although we should be able to do it with the post, inside should be a promise, but let's say Firebase that create post using post that then, okay, we can use then here. We're going to just console something in this case, but we should receive the post also, but we're going to console that log post created successfully, and we can say catch the error console.log error. Okay, and we can even say if this is done, because in my function I did this, okay, I added below this, but let's just not add it there. We're going to add it here. Okay, so this set is busy and set redirect is going to be set whenever this ends, but in case there's an error, this is going to be needed. So let's say set is busy to false, but we are not going to redirect. Okay, this should work, and this should allow us to create the first post. This is the first post. So let me show you what we want. What is going to happen. So we don't have anything here inside the database. We don't even have a collection. Let's choose a file. So as I said, I've been working with Laravel. I think I didn't say that, but I'm working with Laravel, and there's a little problem with Laravel with the file uploads. Okay, because I'm building an API, and it doesn't take some files. And the thing is that here we're not used to how to return, and we're not going to do this, okay, until we get to Laravel, because Firebase manages almost every file, I think. So let's create post. Unauthorized user, okay. And as I was saying, Firebase handles the files, okay, but if we create an API with Laravel, why this is important? Because here we're not used to handle the reject response, okay, with Firebase, because it takes almost every file. But we will see how to handle the rejects, okay, the rejections, or the errors from the API using Laravel. Okay, so we will see that on another tutorial, just a little spoiler. But what, okay, so we need to go to storage, to go to rules, and I forgot to do this, so let me just remove this and add a semicolon there. So let's say publish, and now we should have access, create post. What? Oh, I didn't say set is busy is equal to, okay. So this is going to be let's wait, because this should, at this point, it should be, yeah. It should be creating that, but since we didn't have the set is busy to true when we create the post, we didn't see the, so let's create a new post. Let's say second post. This is the second post. Let's choose another file. Let's choose this one. and create post. And now you can see, since is busy is set to true, we get the dip with the request is being processed, the loading, and after it's done, we're going to redirect. So this one should be already done, and just wait, because these are big files, so you could add actually using this cover, check all the if the MIME type is correct, if the file size is below certain things. Okay, so you have all the properties of the file inside this. Okay, so you can handle it however you want. The main is we got redirected to the main, the post was created successfully, and to see that, let's go to files. We should have, yep, two files. Okay, the files I just uploaded, and we should have two posts. Okay, with the content, the cover, that this is the URL, the file ref, that is the actual name of the file that we are going to use in order to delete the file, and the title, okay, of the post. So in the next video, we're going to handle the fetching of the files, okay, of the posts, I mean, and yeah, we still need to add the single post route that will manage the single post, fetching just one post, returning that with the capability of editing and deleting that post. Okay, so see you on the next one.